Hello and welcome to episode 50 of the FastHeartMart podcast. I am your host, FastHeartMart. If you want to know why, just look it up. While people are getting in here, I'm just going to play a song of mine. It is called Depression Proof from an album that I wrote 10, 20, 10, 15 years ago, 12 years ago. The song's called Depression Proof. It's off a record of mine called Depression Proof and a record called Awkward Quan. Here it goes. I am just a traveler and I just got to town. I need time for dreaming before I settle down. I've had many jobs and I work very hard. Now it's time for me to follow my heart. Follow my heart. To follow my heart. To follow my heart. To follow my heart. I seen all these people and I hear the trouble. I'm singing them this song to ease their worried soul. These songs can make you happy and enhance your mood. Songs can make you happy and depression proof. Depression proof. Depression proof. Depression proof. Depression proof. Beggars and bums, please don't confuse me. If you think I'm your bum, I don't need your money. I am just a singer and I'm having some fun. Singing these songs and chasing the sun. Chasing the sun. I'm chasing the sun. I'm chasing the sun. I'm chasing the sun. I seen all these people and I hear the trouble. I'm singing them this song to ease their worried souls. Our songs can make you happy and enhance your mood. Songs can make you happy and depression proof. Depression proof. Depression proof. Depression proof. Depression proof. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, well, I haven't seen any chats yet. Let me just confirm that we're live here on YouTube right now. I got to do that just to make sure you know how that goes. I appreciate everybody who is listening already right now. I hope this thing's live. It should be. It says it is on YouTube, so I'm going to keep going. Please let me know if you're listening right now in the chat. Let me know. If nobody's listening, whatever. That's fine too. The show goes on. It is episode 50. I am so excited. It is episode 50. That's a big deal. As you know. Thank you. Hopefully one day I'll have an actual a studio audience in here who actually claps and stuff like that. Maybe not in my apartment, but maybe I'll have like a big thing going on. Oh, Dennis Driscoll's here. Thank you so much, Dennis. Thanks for chiming in. Let me know everything's working out there, man. It's good to hear from you. Dennis is a great guy. He's the chairman around San Diego. He brings chairs to events and stuff, folding chairs, and he chimed in last week and definitely donated a nice donation last week. So thanks a lot. So yeah, this is episode 50, the importance of celebrating the victories you've already won. So this week I had some good friends of mine from Virginia visiting, the two guy friends of mine, and really good guys. They've helped me. These two guys have helped me so much. When I went through that nervous breakdown 10 years ago, those guys were there for me through thick and thin. And it was really like a full circle. Like I said, there's been some astrological events going on. Mercury retrograde was pretty intense this time of year. And I feel like a full circle, 10 years. They hadn't visited me the whole time I've been in San Diego. They just are busy. They wanted to, but they just never did. And these guys came out this weekend and stayed at my place, and we had a great time. But we got to thinking, I got to talking to one of my friends. I'm not going to mention any names because I'm not sure they want me telling their names, and that's just the way I am. Now, if they ever tell me like straight up, hey, you're always welcome to say my name on your show. But one of my friends and I, we went to the bar one night while the other friend stayed home and he chilled. And at my place, we all stayed in this. Well, I stayed in my car because I have a bed in my car, and then they stayed in my apartment. And it was a fun time. It was a cozy weekend with my guy friends from Virginia, and one of them. Well, I'm not gonna say. So both of them are definitely experienced with relationships with women, and we got to talk a lot about that and about comparing notes and stuff like that. And one of my friends, we went to a bar together Friday night, and he was giving me some feedback, so, showing me some blind spots that I may not see. And he's like, look, man, I think your apartment's great, but it's great for like a 25-year-old, maybe a 30-year-old. You're 46, so if a woman sees this place, she's going to think that you don't have any abundance in your life. And she's going to think, well, where am I going to be? And what's going on with this guy? He's like 46 years old, and he lives in a tiny apartment that probably doesn't cost all that much, which is true. Peter Dames is here. Hey, Martin. Hey, Peter, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming out. And so, he was telling me all this stuff about how, he thought what a woman would think about my life. And maybe that's why I'm still single at 46, which I really appreciate his honest feedback. And I definitely listened to him as he was talking because, as I said, in the past, he's given me a lot of really good advice and good feedback. Whether I agree with it or not, it's really good feedback. And but I took that advice and I thought about it for about 12 to 24 hours. And then the next day I just said to him, hey, man, I appreciate your advice, but we can't forget I have really accomplished a lot in my life. In the 46 years I've been alive, even though I don't have a significant other and I don't have a house of my own yet, and those have been two big goals of mine for the last at least 10, 15 years, even though I don't have those things, I have a lot of other things to really be proud of. One of the things is this is episode 50 of the podcast. I mean, let's give me another round of applause for that. Thank you. Yeah. That's the thing, people. I'm not just doing this. Thank you. I'm not just doing this podcast for myself. A lot of it is for myself, but a lot of it is hoping that somebody out there will hear these words and get inspired as well. We have to always look back at our lives and pat ourselves on the back. That's part of being, loving yourself, is saying, wait, I've achieved all these things too. I can't get down on myself because, I don't have these other two things that I haven't accomplished yet. I've accomplished so much. I mean, for the last 7 years, I have made a living exclusively off of my music, and that is a big deal. Here in San Diego, nonetheless, it's a pretty expensive place to live. So, in a lot of ways, and this is going to sound a little bit arrogant or whatever, but in a lot of ways, I'm an American. I am an American folk hero, folk singer hero, or in my own mind, and in the minds of others. I've been doing this for, God, it's been 24 years now, almost. I've been playing my music and getting out there and going at it. I can't forget all the things I have sacrificed to do this, and Sure, I haven't been as productive as I would have liked to have been, but I've been as productive as I can. I'm always working, almost every day. If you knew anybody that knows me, almost every day I'm doing something with my music. I constantly carve out time every day to work on my music. And maybe I'm not rich and famous like some of these other musicians out there, but that's not the point. As the saying goes, comparison is the what does it say? Comparison is the death of joy. And that is true. I can't compare myself to others. I have to look at myself and lift myself up and be proud of myself for where I'm at. And as you know, I started out life with a heart condition, which is could have killed me, and it almost has a few times. Even recently, I've had some close calls with it, and so I can't forget. I've had to overcome that in a lot of ways. I've had debilitating depression at times, and so on and so forth. So many things I've overcome, and to be here today, to be as strong and healthy and wise as I am, and sane. I am sane, more sane. I think I'm more sane than 95% of the people out there in the world today. I have to be proud of myself for that. I didn't just fall in line and do what the society wanted me to do. I have done what I've wanted to do, and for that, I have to be very proud. And I encourage everybody out there to look at your life and think and wonder, what have you done to be proud of? And be proud of yourself. Thank you. Be proud of yourself, especially for the times we're living in. Like I said a few episodes ago, we're all heroes just for showing up anymore. I feel like this world has become very complicated, and I'm not saying it's not possible to be happy. It's always possible to be happy, and it's always possible to overcome and rise above. I really believe that. But I think right now we have to be proud of ourselves for showing up and functioning at all in this world we're living through right now that seems to be getting just more chaotic every day. So that's another thing. And I'm going to play a song, I guess, to break this up. Peter Dame says that's your biggest asset, sanity. That's true, man. Sanity is, and mental health and inner peace is gold, man. In my opinion, that is everything. It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you don't have those things, your mental health and your inner peace, what do you have? You don't really have anything. Well, I don't think. Okay. So the next song that I'm gonna play is called Chinese Restaurant, and that's what it's about. You know what? Actually, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna thank some people. Go ahead and like this episode right now, please. If you can, that way it helps the algorithm, other people. I've been getting at least like 100 views a show, which seems good to me, and I'm getting more subscribers. Please subscribe. I'm getting like 10 subscribers a month. It would be nice to bump that up to 20 a month, but whatever. I'm cool with it. I've got 1,180 something subscribers now, which I'm happy with that. And I don't mean to sound greedy, but if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe, because it helps me get more views, and which will help me get more money, which will help me keep doing this. If you like what I'm doing, and at least the least you can do is you can like the video. It doesn't take anything to do that. Just push the button. And of course you can go to my Venmo, and let's see, how can I do it? Go to my Venmo, and there's links below to support this podcast. So what was I going to say though? Okay, so also I really wanted to thank, before I move on, I wanted to thank Jeff Storks. He's a former banjo student of mine. What a good guy. I saw that guy come so far with his banjo playing. He was with me all through the pandemic. I think he was with me for 3 or 4 years. And I saw him come so far, and he's really supportive of this podcast. And like I've said before, I think I've said this. Well, he just came so far, and he wrote me a nice note. He just said, "I love the photo of the Airstream in the last video of Joshua Tree, and I wonder if you knew 10,000 acres burned in the Mojave Desert in late July, and many of the trees burned. Maybe God saved you from a true catastrophe. Keep at it." Which, that there is a lot of reasons, and I thank you, Jeff, for that comment and for that donation. And I feel like I always have to trust that God. I have to trust in God. I try my best to do what I want to do with my life, but in the end, God gets whatever God wants. So, and I think a lot of times God lets us get something if we do it right, but God won't, he or she, it won't let us do something unless it's in the grand scheme of things. And sometimes we may never know for the rest of our lives why things happen the way they did. So, and some of you don't believe in God, and I respect that. I get it. I'm not saying you should believe in God. I'm going to do a song that Jeff, he kind of alluded to. Keep it up, keep at it, he said, and everything's going to be all right. So I'm going to do a song called Everything's Going to Be All Right next. It looks like my parents are here. Mom and Dad are here. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Those are my biggest fans, of course. And this song's called Everything's Gonna Be Alright. I'm gonna have to retune for it, and maybe I'll do a little bit of talking while I'm retuning. And yeah, I another thing, I could have fallen in line and been an automaton, just like so many people. Which that's no disrespect to people that feel that that's their life. They should do that. I don't want people to think that I think that that I'm judging them for being normal. That reminds me of a story where my sister had a best friend, growing up when I was growing up. And she was like a sister to me too, because they were always together, my sister and her best friend. And her best friend used to wear this pin that said, "Why be normal?" And as a kid, and not only did she wear the pin on her jean jacket all the time, she wore it upside down. She was so cool. My sister was so cool too. My sister's still cool. And I always looked up to those two as a boy. And I thought, yeah, why be normal? Because I already knew I wasn't normal. Maybe nobody is. And I've got a mullet these days. I'm wearing a mullet, and I'm wearing it proudly because I like long hair, but I don't like it everywhere. So I just wear it in the back, long. And I can put it up whenever I want to. That's another thing I have to be proud of, though, is like I haven't bowed down to the system completely. I know I'm playing in the Matrix right now, and I'm coming to you through the Matrix, but I'm infiltrating the Matrix is how I like to think of it. Okay, this song's called Everything's Gonna Be Alright. I'm gonna dedicate this to Jeff Stork. What a good man. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be just fine. Everything's gonna be alright. If you just hold on. Just hold on. If you can just still your mind. Less is wrong than is right. And everything's gonna be alright. If you just hold on. Just hold on. 'Cause sometimes we drift in life. It's hard work just getting by. And everything's gonna be alright if we just hold on. Just hold on. Just hold on. I'm just hold on. And just let go. All right, thank you very much. Is anybody getting this, like, burst of volume out there? I keep hearing the banjo get, like, super loud really quick. I hope that's not happening out there, but I hear the banjo getting, like, super loud really quick. Anyway, sounds great except the very loud scratches from a loose connection. Jared Curry's coming in from South Dakota. Thanks, Peter, for the feedback. I mean, every now and then that banjo's like spiking. I don't know what's that. That's never happened before. That's a new problem. So sorry about that, y'all. And so what else did I want to say about the importance of celebrating the victories you've already won? I hope people get that, what I'm trying to talk about here, because it's really important to just love yourself, be proud of yourself. Just like I almost wonder if, just like apparently you can't love yourself more than anybody else. Nobody can love you more than you love yourself, right? I think people all kind of agree on that. And maybe nobody can be proud of yourself more than you are. You have to be proud of yourself. You have to be really thinking about that stuff. We're always constantly, like, I've made this vision board for the future and stuff like that. And like I was talking to my friend the other day about all the downfalls I have, but this in the vision board is looking to the future, but it's also really good to celebrate the past and what you've done already. I started out this path a long time ago when I was 12 years old, which is a long time ago. I'm 46. You do the math. I think that's 34 years. And I knew that I wanted to reach people with my music and to help people cope with life, just like music has helped me cope with life. But I was also really good with mechanics. I was really into robotics. I wanted to go into robotics, and that's initially what I was studying in college. I was going to go into robotics. I was going to go into NASA, actually, and be part of the Mars rover mission. But I thought to myself, I think robots are going to put people out of work in the future, and I think robots are going to take over, and I think the implications of robots is something I don't want to get involved with, and so I didn't. I got out of it, and I actually was talking to a musician friend of mine at the time. He was an older guy, and I think his name was something Paul. His last name was Paul. He was a saxophone player around Albuquerque, and him and I were eating Chinese food at a Chinese restaurant, our favorite restaurant in Albuquerque called Kai's Chinese Restaurant. Our favorite Chinese restaurant in Albuquerque was called Kai's Chinese Restaurant. It was like a kung fu. The guy that originally started it was a kung fu expert, and he had all these kung fu pictures up all over the walls. It was so cool. Anyway, I said to this guy, who was kind of a hero of mine because he was a full-time musician. That's all he did was played saxophone. He played in jazz bands. He played by himself. He played whatever, up, down, sideways. He did whatever he could to make a living. And I said to him, hey, I think his name was Andrew Paul. Now that I think of it, what a cool guy. And I haven't seen him in years, probably maybe since he said this to me. I just said to him, hey, I'm in college because everybody tells me you should get your degree, go to college, get your degree, and then do whatever you want to do afterwards so you'll have something to fall back on. And my friend, the saxophone player, he said to me, do you think if I had a college degree to fall back on, I'd still be playing this saxophone? And he was basically, basically he was saying to me, you got to do this without a safety net. Sometimes the only way you'll do something in life is no safety net. You have to just do it. And I'll admit, this has not been an easy path that I have trod for the last 24 years. But it has been the path that I know I've wanted to trod. Because I wake up every day thinking, if there's something else I'd rather do, I'll do it. But there's nothing. The music keeps calling me all the time. And I always have something that I want to improve and something to do. And that's what keeps me going. So that's where I started out, and I got to be proud of myself for keeping the eye on the ball. Of course, I've had day jobs and odd jobs here and there, and I even had a really nice job in Virginia, that I could have retired from. But for whatever reason, nothing really ever satisfies me except for music. And even that, I get very frustrated at times. I want to quit, of course. I just want to go get a backpack and go walk away from everything and go wander around the world with nothing but my backpack. And one day I might actually still do that. And I would definitely keep in touch with everybody. I wouldn't disappear altogether, but I'd just be like, dude, this life is too complicated. Everything's too complicated. So yeah, that's kind of what the path I've trod. And I want everybody out there listening to this, if you're in a place of introspection like I have been lately, and trying to figure out what's going on with your life and where you want to go, I encourage you to look back too and think about all the things you've achieved. And this next song is a slow song as well. I'm going to do 2 slow songs in a row, which is very, very radical idea. But this song is called Chinese Restaurant that I'm going to do next, because I actually wrote this song about the Chinese restaurant that I was talking to Andrew Paul at. I didn't write it at the time. I wrote it years later. I had a friend who was dying of cancer. Unfortunately, she did pass away. But I wrote this song during that time because her and I would have these conversations, and she would just say, I just love what you've done with your life. You've had so many opportunities to not follow your bliss and just fall in line, do what everybody wants you to do or society wants you to do, but you haven't. And I kind of wrote this song a little bit for her, and she definitely got to hear this song before she passed away, and she loved it. Here it is. And this song's about living your life passionately, because one day life will end, as so they say. Maybe that's a conspiracy, another conspiracy put out by the government to keep us all. But maybe we could live longer, but I don't think we're ever really meant to stay here forever. I think God just wants us to learn some things while we're here and then move on. Or maybe come back. I don't know. I'm open to the idea of reincarnation. I don't think we actually come back here, but hey, what do I know? The song's called Chinese Restaurant. Oh, let me get it queued up. Hang on. It's going to take a second to get it queued up. It sounds like I'm getting bursts of volume again, but I don't know what to do about that, y'all. Sorry about it. Chinese restaurant, eating fried rice, soaking up soy sauce. Zodiac for my placemat gets me wondering. I play guitar and sing, I'm living my dream. So when the doctor tells me I am dying, at least, just maybe, I can die happy, knowing that I have lived passionately. Bring me a bill with a fortune cookie. I forget to read, 'cause my poor wallet can't afford it. Now I'm washing the dishes. I play guitar and sing, I'm living my dream. So when the doctor tells me I am dying, at least, just maybe, I can die happy, knowing that I have lived passionately. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Gary Reed commented, AI generated FastHeartMart. That's right. almost, but not quite. Yeah, so I dropped out of college right after that. My friend had said those wise words to me, or some people might think they were reckless words. Let me get back to this. Okay, there's no reverb on this one. So I dropped out of college right after that conversation with my saxophone player friend, who told me basically, if I had a college degree to fall back on, then do you think I'd still be playing this saxophone? And so that's when I realized sometimes in life, you got to do things without a safety net. And so I did. I dropped out of college like pretty much a week or two later, and I'll tell the story about the first time I actually played professionally busking. I'll tell that in another episode because it's a whole nother story. But I did. I just dropped out, and that was it. I think also in life you have to be thankful for the things you don't have. And that sounds kind of weird. I know with the positive thinking and affirmations, you don't want to think about the negative. You want to dwell on the positive. But I'm just going to say it. I have a lot of things to be thankful that I don't have. And one is I've never gotten involved so deeply with a woman that I ended up in a place where I was completely devastated by the outcome. I don't know how to say that. Basically, I'm just going to say, I'll just say it. A lot of times we get together with somebody, we have some children, buy a house, and do all these things that we don't feel very secure about. It feels very precarious, but we do it anyway, especially when we're younger. And I'm really grateful that I never did that. I've never done that, and I haven't had to pay child support to anybody. And I don't mean to sound like arrogant, or it sounds weird to people out there who are paying child support. And God bless you guys for paying child support, and girls, women, whoever paying child support. I think that would be a terrible position to be in. And I'm really grateful I've never put myself in that position, or I've never gotten in that position. I don't have any children, and that was intentionally. I certainly have had the opportunity, and I just never did. And so I got to be proud of myself for that. And the reason I'm saying this is maybe you can feel the same way about some things that you don't have in your life. I've never been a drug addict. I've never been an alcoholic. I've never, knock on wood, all this stuff. I mean, thank God. I've never been to jail, prison. I haven't done a lot of things that some people do, and you really mess up your life. I've never had a DWI, knock on wood. I mean, shit, I shouldn't be saying all this stuff maybe, but I'm saying it because there's a lot of stuff that could have happened to any of us. I mean, I could be dead by now. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, I wouldn't even be here. We all have a lot to be grateful for and a lot to be proud of, if the fact that you're still here, especially if you're watching this podcast or listening to this podcast. You must be a great person. But if you're listening to this podcast, you're like on another level of humanity, I feel like. So good for you people. I'm going to sing next song is going to be called Where Have All the Average People Gone? I'm going to play more songs this time, and which is funny because I seem to be having some technical difficulties with the music. Every now and then I'm getting a pop of loudness, but it's very rare, so hopefully it's not bad enough to where I have to just scrap the whole show. But this song was made famous by a man named Roger Miller, who I've talked about previously on previous episodes. Oh yeah, and I wanted to say too about this podcast. One of the things I'm proud of is that I've just recently gone live. Everything has to be, there's no post-production anymore. The first 40 episodes, maybe 43 episodes of this podcast were done not live, and I had all the time in the world to do post-production. And I actually spent a lot of time in post-production doing lighting and getting sound just right. And it was a lot. It was way too much work. It was really, it was not sustainable to keep going that way. It was too much post-production. And so I'm proud of myself for now going live. It's been a lot of work, but this is the way to go. If it's going to be sustainable, I got to do it this way. And so thanks a lot for everybody for listening and keeping with me. I started this podcast because as you know, the pandemic had everything canceled. I had a 2 to 3 month tour, and everything was canceled. It was devastating, to say the least. I remember I was just completely devastated. All the work I had put into that tour, and everything just went down the drain. Like seriously, literally in the matter of 3 days, everything canceled. And I thought, oh my God, what am I gonna do? So I started this podcast, and as you know, if you've been listening since the beginning, like Peter Dames and my parents and some others who are probably listening right now, Gary Reed. As you know, I've stopped it. I've picked it back up a few times because things got very controversial during the pandemic. And I wasn't comfortable at first talking about how I felt about some things. And now I feel comfortable. I know who I am. And I feel called, actually, to talk about those things. And this is one of those songs. It's called Where Have All the Average People Gone? And I feel like I've stayed like an average person this whole time I've been a musician. I've never really wanted to be anything but an average person. I just want to make a living playing my music. Oh yeah, and Cole's been listening since the beginning too. Hey Cole. Oh yeah, and I was supposed to say hello to a boy named Jules up in Canada. He's been listening from a friend here in San Diego. She listens, and I think somebody in Canada. A 12-year-old boy who's an aspiring musician. Hey Jules in Canada. Sorry, I didn't say that. I was going to say that earlier. And Cole took lessons from me during the pandemic to help me out, and I helped him out, of course. It was a mutual situation, I think. But Cole lives in Germany now. He was in Boston at the time, and now he's in Germany, I think. And his whole family has been very supportive of me and my music pursuit for a long time, since probably 2005 or 6. Cole, I remember hearing Cole played. I think he played Chinese restaurant for one of his violin recitals like a long time ago when he was in school. And that's one of those things, you hear that kind of story and you think, okay, well, my music career hasn't been all for nothing. People have been inspired enough. Cole was inspired enough by my music to play his violin recital, Chinese restaurant, That's cool, man. I mean, how many people could say they've done that? Oh, everybody's in Silver City again? Okay, everybody's back in Silver City, New Mexico, it sounds like. I don't know if everybody is, but Cole and Peter are back. Cole's favorite song is Chinese Restaurant, of mine, is Chinese Restaurant. So I'm glad I did that out. That's also for you, Cole. All right, now this song's called Where Have All the Average People Gone? All the fighting men may think that I am a coward, 'cause I'll never push anyone around. But the gentle people think I'm a troublemaker, 'cause I'm not afraid to fight and stand my ground. It's funny I don't fit. Tell me, where have all the average people gone? It's funny I don't fit. Tell me, where have all the average people gone? And the pious people point and they call me a sinner, 'cause to them I've never seen the light. But the other people think that I am a preacher, 'cause I'm just singing what I think is right. It's funny I don't fit. Tell me, where have all the average people gone? It's funny I don't fit. Tell me, where have all the average people gone? And the rich people think that I am a hobo, lean and hungry, writing some hobo songs. But the poor, poor people think that I am a rich man. But the truth is I'm just trying to get along. It's funny I don't fit. Tell me, where have all the average people gone? Funny I don't fit. Tell me, where have all the average people gone? It's funny I don't fit. Tell me, where have all the average people gone? All right, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Man, also Jared Curry up in South Dakota and his family, they've all been listening to this podcast since the beginning, and they were very generous donators from early on, so thank you so much. I'm also proud of myself for running this podcast. I feel like it'd be easier to fly an airplane than to run this podcast, to be honest. I have to switch to this reverb setting whenever I'm singing because it sounds better. And then I have to switch back to this regular thing when I'm just talking. And I have to get all this stuff going on with my feet from my banjo and the guitar settings and all that stuff. And I feel like I'm just constantly checking gauges and dials and stuff. So good on me for that. Good on me for all that stuff. I'm going to play a few more songs before this is over. Let me just go ahead and play this next song. It's called I Love You, San Diego. I think I played it like the last one, too. Maybe I shouldn't play that one. I'm not going to play that one. I'm going to play Invincible. Invincible's a good self-empowering song. I'm all into self-empowering these days. I've always been, but I'm back into it. I'm back on the train of empowering yourself, believing in yourself, looking at yourself in a positive way. Gary Reed says, as an airplane pilot, I'm offended by that, being a helicopter pilot. I think helicopters are harder than airplanes, ain't they? I don't know. I know he's just kidding anyway. It doesn't matter. So, good old Gary Reed. Thanks for chiming in so often, Gary. He listens quite often, and he's up in, I think he said he's in Ojai these days, and I see posts from him up in Ojai, which is about 150 miles north of San Diego. It's apparently a great town to live. I've never lived there. I've visited briefly. I think that's one of the interesting things about this podcast is I'm talking to people all over the world that I've met all over the world. Like I started out in life, I just wanted to be Ramblin' Jack. I wanted to be Bob Dylan. And I'm that. I kind of am. I've achieved exactly what I wanted to be. So I can't complain, man. I got to be really proud of myself. I've got friends all over the world, literally all over the world. I've got friends. I've got friends in Germany, Europe, all throughout Europe. I've got friends all over the United States. I've got enemies too, but just very few. I think very few. I think I have more enemies. Probably. I don't know. I don't think I have that many enemies. I don't really have that many enemies. San Luis Obispo. Close enough, right? Ojai's pretty close, isn't it? Gary Reed says he's in San Luis Obispo. All right. This song's called... What was I saying when I was going to play? Oh, Invincible. This is a good song. This is a song about turning 100 years old. I'm 46, so I'm almost halfway there. Here we go. I just turned 100 years old. Anything's possible because I feel invincible. Yeah, I feel invincible. I'm never too old to have a dream. I'll make my own realities. I feel invincible. Yeah, I feel invincible. I live in San Diego. Weather here hardly gets cold. I feel invincible. Yeah, I feel invincible. 100 things are wrong, but 1,000,000,000 things are right. Now I choose to live on the bright side. A 100 things are wrong, but 1,000,000,000 things are right. Now I choose to live on the bright side. A 100 things are wrong, but 1,000,000,000 things are right. Now I choose to live on the bright side. I just turned 1,000 years old. Anything's possible because I feel invincible. I feel invincible. I just turned 1,000 years old. Anything's possible cause I feel invincible. I feel invincible. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Kristen Nilsson just wrote in, good stuff. Hey, thanks, Christian. I wonder if that's Christian that I just met this Sunday at, I met a dentist guy on Sunday in La Jolla. He was really cool. His name was Christian, but I don't know if his last name was Nilsson. Jared Curry. Wee woo. And Gary Reed says, FastHeartMart is the Bob Dylan of San Diego. Thank you so much, Gary Reed. I appreciate that. It's not, well, I hope you, I appreciate the sentiment. I've never been, I don't have any awards. I don't have time to even apply for these awards. I think that's the problem. I don't have time to apply for these festivals. I don't even know when these festivals are happening. I don't know, man. I think that's, I need help. I need a lot of help when it comes to booking and promoting and stuff like that. I think I'd be a lot better off, but I'm working at it. I got a vision board with that on there now, so, all the way from Sweden. Christian, all the way from Sweden. Dude, that's awesome, man. Thanks for chiming in, man. That's awesome. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank some people who who have donated to this episode. Let's see if anybody did. Hopefully they did. I don't feel stupid by checking. Looks like, yes, Dennis Driscoll. Thank you so much, bud. I appreciate that, man. Very generous man there. DSI, who I think I know who DSI is. They donated. I can't see what the, I can't see if there's is there a comment? There's no comment there. I think I know who DSI is. I think I know she is. Anyway, they donated. Thank you so much. People are donating. That's really kind. People, please like this video. If you've gotten this far, please like it, especially. And I'm going to read some of the kind comments from the last episode. This one's from the Ladybug line, who's a woman I've never actually met in person, but we met through a mutual friend of ours, the typewriter Troubadour, on Facebook, because her and I are politically aligned in a lot of ways on a lot of subjects that are not, they're pretty controversial subjects, mostly the MAGA jabs and stuff like that. So she wrote, "From one March fishy to another, you are awesome. Great story, rock on." She's so kind. She's been so supportive of my work, and I really appreciate that, and I try to support her back. I know she gets it. There's some people out there who get what I'm doing, and I really appreciate that. And of course, Peter Dames wrote such a nice note last episode. He commented, "Martin, sorry we didn't catch this live, but that it was one of your best shows ever. You are getting better, more and more pro. You also seem to forget that you are really natural, and most people couldn't pull this off. So I personally think you are further than you think." Thanks, Peter. I appreciate that, man. And he said PC babies. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I have an idea, and it's very funny. I think that's deserves a lot. PC babies is funny. Jeff Helton wrote in. Jeff Helton's my friend in South Carolina, who's been a friend of mine since high school, actually. And he wrote, "You're right. You're not too old to buy a house at 45." Or no, he says, "You're not too old to buy a house. I bought my first house at 45, and I am now 47, and I've had it for 2 years. Remember, with God, anything's possible." And I appreciate you reminding that, Jeff. That is true. I feel like God can do anything, and as long as you don't get in God's way or get in your own way, it's possible. And I feel like maybe I did get my own way back in 2016 when I had the opportunity, but I hope I wouldn't do that again. Anyway, and his wife's birthday is March 31st, which is a whole different zodiac sign. I think that's Aries, but that's cool. Whatever. Happy birthday to your wife on March 31st. My dad's actually born on March 31st too. Happy birthday, Dad, in 6 months from now, I think that is, or something. And he says, Jeff says his brother is born March 6th, which is, his brother is Carnus, who was a cool guy, also a Pisces, just like me. I was born March 7th. So thanks a lot, everybody, for commenting. Please leave comments on this video too if you get a chance, and like it. I'll do one more song, right? Let's see. What else do I have? Oh, I got to promote the next gigs here. I got some gigs coming up, y'all. I got a busy week here. Oh, that's Peter on PayPal. DSI is Peter. Okay, cool, man. Thanks a lot, Peter, for donating. I thought DSI was a friend of mine in Palm Springs. She donates quite often as well to this podcast. It's really cool. Thanks, y'all. I appreciate that. Here, check this out. I've got gigs coming up. Of course, today is the podcast episode 50, which is super cool. I'm super proud of myself for getting 50 episodes of this thing down, and it's just going to keep adding up now that I'm doing it every week. Things are going good. I'll be at the Stone Brewing in Oceanside this Friday night, the 29th of September. That's from 6 to 8 p.m. This was my first time playing there, so please come out, support me, buy a beer. I don't know if they have non-alcoholic beers there or not. I hope so. I always like to drink non-alcoholic beers these days, even though, like, my friends were visiting this weekend. We had a couple drinks, I'll admit that. And then I'll be at Helix Brewing on Saturday, September 30th, which is this Saturday, and that is from 6:30 to 9 p.m. Helix is in San Diego. Helix Brewing is in the San Diego area. They have the best low alcohol IPAs. We call them sessionable IPAs, meaning you can drink a couple of these IPAs and you won't be like passed out drunk. You can drink them. They're drinkable. Sessionable is what they call them. And Helix Brewing has the best ones of those, the sessionable IPAs I've ever had. I think they even have some down to like 3.8% or 4% or something. It's awesome, and they taste so good. So come out, hear me there. Smokey Joe will be with me on washboard at that gig. And I'll play one more song. How's that? We got Sorry about all the anonymity. That's okay, Peter Dames. No worries, man. Peter Dames has been such a... He like has supported me so much through so many times. It's great. So thank you guys. I appreciate that. And let's see. What song am I gonna do to end this? Does anybody have... I'm gonna play a song that I haven't played a lot on this podcast. It's called Play On. It's about the world going crazy. It's really about, feeling like you're on the Titanic heading for an iceberg on this world we're living, which I feel like a lot of times. I feel like, oh my God, does anybody else see this? We're heading right for this iceberg. But we got to keep, we can get overwhelmed by all the negativity and the craziness and stuff, but nonetheless, you have to play on. Keep playing on. Keep playing the game as best you can. And that's what I'm doing, it's just more and more crucial every day to find the positive of what's going on. I still believe what's happening with all these shifts in the world. I still believe we've got this, people. I think humanity is going to overcome and pull it together, and the world will be a better place eventually. I don't know how long that'll take. I just feel it. I think we're in the age of, I've said this before, and this is not my own thought, it's actually from the Baha'i writings, but we're in the age of adolescence and human history, and I think we're right on the crux of early adulthood, and when we get to that point, it'll be a great time to be alive. So this song's called Play On. I'm gonna mute the banjo. I think it's... Woo! All the world's gone crazy, it might be ending, no one really knows. Can we do now, your time before this all explodes? And we gotta play on, we gotta play on, we gotta play on, we gotta play on. Meltdown, melting iceberg, erupting volcano. Still tread lightly on the world before this whole thing blows. And we gotta play on, we gotta play on, we gotta play on, and we gotta play on. And the Constitution's been corrupted, you know how that goes. Puppets fighting, lost of power, let down decompose. And we gotta play on, we gotta play on, we gotta play on, we gotta play on. And the earth is quaking, tidal wave, and trying to shake us off. There's robots coming, they have a virus, I think I heard one cough. And we gotta play on, we gotta play on. Yeah, we gotta play on, we gotta play on. All the world's gone crazy, it might be ending, no one really knows. Can we do now your time before this all explodes? And we gotta play on, we gotta play on. Gotta play on, we gotta play on. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. I just noticed that Christian from Sweden said he just picked up the banjo after seeing your adoption of Crazy Train. That's cool, man. That's awesome. Thanks for checking me out, Christian. I'm glad that version of Crazy Train that I play has got me a lot of places, for sure. Got me a lot of banjo students. If you need a banjo teacher, I do teach lessons online, Christian, so you can hit me up, Martin at FastHeartMart.com. And also, I want to also thank my parents who they almost always donate to the show. Well, they have a lot, and I really appreciate that. And my parents are just great people. They live out in Virginia. I'm going to be spending more time with them coming up next year. And they're a big deal to me. And thanks a lot, Mom and Dad, for always donating to this podcast and stuff and believing in me. They always believe in me. They were not super happy about me dropping out of college at first, but hey, most parents wouldn't be, you can't blame them. But they came around for sure. My dad definitely, he definitely wasn't happy about it at first, but they both really embraced it, with shortly thereafter, they realized I was just going to keep going and I wasn't turning back. And so I really appreciate that. So anyway, in closing, I just want to say, everybody, be proud of yourselves. Let me just read this. This might be actually the I've been doing shorts and stuff, so let me just read this before we end it. There was something I'd written out that it sounded kind of official. So often we look at the future to gauge our success and where we want to go. But what about celebrating what we've already achieved and where we've already been? This is the topic for this episode of the Fast Heart Mart podcast, episode 50. And yeah, that's the thing. I just want to encourage people out there. Celebrate your life. Look back on your life and think of all the good things you've done. Be sure to do that and boost yourself up. I think we live in a world where they kind of want us to think we're failures and stuff. And they being the puppet masters and the people who propagandize everything and basically want to manipulate everything, through movies and TV and commercials and stuff like that. And hey, the thing is, we can't blame those people. They're just doing what they think, is best for them. And we go along with it. So we shouldn't go along with it. We should be proud of ourselves. The fact that we get up out of bed every day, or not even, sometimes you don't get out of bed because you just don't feel like it. But the fact that you are here and you keep going, please celebrate your life. Keep going. And if there's something out there in your life that you want to do, go do it. As the saying goes, if you want to be a businessman, put on a business suit and be a businessman. If you want to be a banjo player, put on a banjo and go be a banjo player. All right, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next week. I'll be here, God willing, and thanks again for everybody for tuning in. See you next week. Be good to yourselves, people. Be good to yourselves. Be so good to yourselves.